Hello, I'm Neil. This is Neil's Meals, and I'm going to do a cookie tonight because we need cookies. We always need cookies. So tonight I'm making a maple oatmeal cookie. This recipe got sent to me by my sister, and so I thought I'd give it a try because I do love maple. So the first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees, which is pretty much, if you have to guess a baking temperature, is what you'd go to. In other parts of the world, it's usually, I think, 180 degrees Celsius. All right, and so we're going to have to take our bowl. We're going to add some butter. This is 6 ounces of butter, or a stick and a half. And that butter is softened. I've had it out on the counter for a while. All right, and then we're going to add in all right, and then we're going to add in some maple syrup. I need to get that out of the refrigerator. So I buy these big jugs of maple syrup. And we need a cup. I don't think I've ever done anything with a cup of maple syrup before, so this is new. Maple syrup. And I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 45 seconds. Actually, let's do 30. And then I will check it. I'm also going to need half a cup of regular sugar. All right, yep, we know. Let's see. It's kind of warm to one side. Let's stir it up a little bit. You're really just trying to take the chill off of it. It's probably. It's good maple syrup. We have the most inconsistent microwave. I don't know, it's not too bad. They're all a little weird. So we have a cup of sugar in there. I don't think that belongs in there. It was just a little piece of brown sugar. Oh, thank you, Jay Fries. I can't believe you watched me 3 times. That's wonderful. Thank you for everyone watching. And then it says to add the maple syrup. I'll add that. Maple syrup is too expensive to not scrape it with. Butter, maple syrup, sugar, eggs, and vanilla. Add an egg. Oh, here, I should give you. So in this bowl, we have maple syrup, sugar, butter, and 1 egg. It's my hand off. And a teaspoon of vanilla. One teaspoon of vanilla. And then, just because you never know how well the maple syrup's going to do in it, I'm going to add a little less than half a teaspoon of this maple flavoring. If I can get the lid. You don't want to use too much of this. I'm going to do about that much. Just to give it a little oomph. It's funny because it almost smells like fake pancake syrup. But this is natural maple flavor. So that's good. All right. So I think for this, I'm going to use the mixer since we have so much liquid in it. Pardon me, I have to get the mixer. And in this case, I'm just going to use the hand mixer. Here, stop trying to. Come on, there we go. So I have this hand mixer. And I'm going to use. And if this is too loud, let me know. I can mute the audio. So sometimes this happens when you use butter in a recipe with a lot of liquid. It doesn't want to sort of breaks, and you see lots of little pieces of butter. But that's usually okay. All right. And so you can blend it through like I just did, and you get a much, thanks, Mr. Mad Mothy. And you get a much more uniform appearance. So then the recipe tells us to add the oats and mix together. So it calls for 3 cups of rolled oats. Of my container of oats. And I'll put one, 2, and 3. All right. And I'm trying to decide. You can make this just as an oatmeal cookie. They do suggest you can put in nuts, raisins, chocolate chips, coconut. I don't have coconut right now, so that's not an option. I'm trying to decide if I would rather just leave it alone or put some nuts in it. So what do y'all think? Should I put in some pecans, or should I just leave it alone? Pecans. 1 vote for pecans. Anybody else have an opinion? I guess nobody else seems to care. So I think we will put some nuts in it, just because I think that would be good. So let me get some nuts. I have a large thing of pecans. Hi, Dimok. Hey, Almighty. It's nice to see y'all. I'm making a maple oatmeal cookie, and I've just decided that I'm going to do one of the mix-ins for it, which is some nuts. So I'll need a 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. So let me get a board. And I'll do say that many. That many. If you keep nuts, unless you're going to eat them quickly, it's a good idea. Like I took these out of the freezer to freeze your nuts. They last a long time if you get them airtight. Often I just get a bag when I buy them and just throw them in the freezer in the bag. All right, so we have some nuts there. Let's get a knife and chop them up. I think that's fine enough. I just like to break them up. I like a little bigger pieces in mine. So, well, maybe we'll just do this. Just one last run through. All right. We'll just put those in there. Well, no, I'll wait to put those in there at the end. Because we need to put in 1 1/4 cups of flour, a half teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of soda. I put that. All right. I have this plate that I had the butter sitting on. Need 1 1/4 cups of flour. You're fine. You're fine. I have 1 1/4 cups right here, so I will stir it around, and I have a little knife here with a flat edge, and I'll just scrape it off. All right, and we need 1/4. That's right, you are a regular. Thank you for coming into the stream, making yourself known. I appreciate it. We like everyone here. I don't think I've had anybody really bad. So, just watched this today, and I've already got stuff on it. It's not, you know, you're not cooking if you're not getting it on you. All right, so we need a teaspoon of soda, and that's a teaspoon. One teaspoon of soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. This apron? or you need, you know, you can't keep an apron clean while cooking. On all of this. Don't want too much. All right. So I think I'm going to do the rest of this not with this mixer. I think I'm going to do the rest of this with a spoon. So let me get a spoon. Scrape the sides and give it a stir. You can see it's still a little wet. That's why we're going to put this in. And then this that fell on the plate. And let's stir this together. Try to put this more in the shot. All right, that works. Here, we'll do it. This one. So you stir this together. You don't want to stir it too much. You want it to just sort of come together. You want to make sure you get all the flour in it. So you're going to want to scrape the bowl. That is not the one I want. All right, we'll use this one. I like my industrial strength one here. Stir it together until the flour disappears pretty much. You can have a little bit in there. Sorry. All right. And all that's left for these is to stir these nuts I've chopped up in here. Let's pour those in. Because maple pecan sounds good to me. Yeah, I need to set up. I need to set up quotes. I just haven't done it yet. And yeah, you can tell us about your day. That's fine. My day was not exciting at all. I went to CVS and picked up a prescription. Scintillating, I know. All right, so you're just going to basically fold those nuts through, scrape the sides of the bowl, make sure things are evenly distributed. The dough smells very mapley. That's good. All right. So then what we're going to do, now that we've mixed our dough up, is we're going to get a scoop. Where's my little one? There's my little one. and a pan with parchment paper. We're going to just put little scoops on it. Get IT training for a new job, the hospital system, and stuff. And our instructor was one of the smartest, most knowledgeable people I've ever met. He accomplished so much, and I've never seen so much a bank of knowledge. Spent an hour just chatting with him, and I love it. Oh, that sounds great. That's much better than some of the training experiences I have, where the person doesn't seem to know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, get with it. I think you should consider yourself lucky because I was in IT for years. I mean, I still would be if I hadn't been laid off. And they never wanted to pay for training for us for anything. They just expected you to go out on your own and get whatever it was. And before they'd give you any job, you know, that was a little better than the one you had, you would have to go and study yourself and make yourself basically configured, you know, pre-configured for their stats. And that's much of the IT industry, actually. Maybe because it was in a hospital, it's a little different because they have systems that are 12 to 15 minutes is what it says. All right, well, we'll try that. What happened? Oh, I got rated. Who did I get rating from? Oh, the cooking class board. Thanks so much for coming in. For those coming in, I've stirred up some maple oatmeal cookies, and there's the batter. I did put in some pecans, and I'm just spacing them out onto a pan. Thanks for rating in, Cooking Class Poor. What were you doing? Were you working on your pozole burrito? Oops. Oh, how'd you do it? Did you have to cook the liquid out or just drain some of it out of it? Because I was trying to figure out how you turned a soup into a burrito. But I could see there was enough solid matter in that I could see it working if you either cooked it out um, or like drained it some. Or I guess you could add a thickener and make it real thick. Cool. Well, I'm glad you got it to work. Because that's a neat idea. I would not, like, the only time I've ever really thought of a soup in some other format is like maybe taking some kind of chicken soup into like a pot pie. I wouldn't have thought, you know, well, I guess I would have done it, approached it the same way. You know, I would have somehow made the chicken soup thicker. So drained the broth and used it to cook the rice. Oh, okay. That sounds great. Hospitals are so desperate for employees. I get paid a lot for training. You know, it's funny. I've tried to get a job at the hospital and they haven't hired me. I even tried to get in as a contractor and the contractor wasn't interested in me. I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm done. They were switching to Epic, or starting something up with Epic, which Epic is a system for hospitals. And I basically, it would have been, you know, sort of a grow into position, but I would have started out like resetting passwords. And I guess, you know, I wasn't good for that. Cooking class 4, I'm glad your burrito came out. And that sounded, you know, like a good way to go with it. This is a recipe I've never tried, so this is the first time, and I've just followed it, and I basically just did one extra thing to it. Is it called for a cup of maple syrup, and I put in just a little bit of some maple flavoring that I had that was a natural maple flavoring. I think that's enough on there. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I just hit the something and it did that. Sorry. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm still looking, but I've been concentrating on this right now, and it's sort of made me feel better about it. Oh, wait, I don't want to do that. Buttons do button things. That's right. And cooking class 4, if you need to, you know, if you need to go de-stream, I totally get it. I'm really bad about being a raid and runner. Although some of the time it's because we're going to eat. I'm using the smaller scoop because it said to use rounded teaspoons, and this is, I think, might be a 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon scoop. This might be a tablespoon. I think it'll be fine. And I did do I took one of the mix-in options here and I put pecans in it because I thought maple and pecan is sort of a classic flavor pairing. So that's 2 pans out. I think we're going to go to an ad break here. So I'm sorry for those who... Or no, it added. I'm sorry, it did add. I'm sorry. I am new to this ad thing and I am not good at tracking it. If I had known that was going to happen, I probably would have prevented it, for a little bit to get to a certain point. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for coming. So what I've been making, so I guess I was just talking to my subscribers. Let me rinse my hand off here. So what I'm making is, this is the dough. This is the dough, and it's a maple oatmeal cookie, and I've put in, and I've got them with pecans in them, chopped pecans. And we have some in the oven that have about 4 minutes left. So we'll take a look at those when they come out. Oh yeah, there's turbo people too. Yeah. And actually I'm a turbo person. I love subscribing to people when I can, but I clearly can't subscribe to everyone I want to watch, so. But I love, I love everyone who comes and follows me. People who just come here for free, people who subscribe. I'm thankful for the people who subscribe, but I don't require it. And I don't want you to feel ever pressured that that's what I'm asking for. Which is probably like a bad way to take it in a business sense, but that's just who I am. Hey Zab, how are you? All right, so while this is working, I'm going to clean up a little bit, put some things away. And that goes there. These go over here. I guess I should put a camera on my pantry, but I don't want to do that because I would have to clean my pantry before I would let y'all see it. And we have the oatmeal. Let's put the oatmeal away. It's funny, I've made so many oatmeal cookies that I've almost run out of oatmeal. All right, and the sugar and the flour. I'm gonna have to pull out that extra bag of flour I have. Put all the ingredients away. That's good. How am I in the cookies? Well, the first batch is about to come out. So we're going to get to see, if this is a good cookie or if this is not. And that beep just meant there is just 1 minute left. And I may have to cook them a little longer because I believe it said 12 to 15 minutes. Okay. Thanks for that. Oh, it looks like I disconnected and am reconnecting. Are y'all back? I just got a message that said y'all disconnected and reconnected. Hopefully y'all, is anybody still out there? Oh, look, it reconnected now. Okay. Do I still have y'all? Oh, it says it's back, but no one's said anything.
Yeah, see the dropped frames?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I?
Okay. Well, now it is back. Recording still.
I might give those a. Should I try stopping and restarting the stream?
No, you don't need to do
okay.
that. Automatically reconnected. Going. Hey, everybody.
Hey, I think we had a hiccup. Hope y'all are still out there. If somebody can hear us, please let us know.
There we go.
Oh, good.
All right.
No, I'm not doing. Well, actually, this is a good place for an ad. I feel like I just did one.
Let's become.
Let's just snooze it. It'll happen probably in about 5 minutes. Yeah, we think we had an internet blip. They've been working on some of the utilities around here. Like, we haven't noticed any issues, but this may be the first time. It did beep and we looked at them, but we didn't think they were quite ready. But I think I'm probably going to pull them out now. Let's get that. Maybe I did those a little bit too long. But that's what they look like. So this is how they come out. And I'll have to cool them before I can take one off. Get these racks out. All right. Okay. So hopefully these are good. I think they're still wet enough. Like, you don't want them to be too dry. But I have no idea how these will turn out, really. Because they've got no brown sugar in them, and that usually sort of gives you some help. Give those a few minutes. Okay. We'll do a taste test in a little bit. This is a cookie my sister sent to me. I haven't baked with a lot of maple syrup, and this was from a maple syrup concern, so I'm sure that's why it called for a cup of maple syrup. I'm hoping they're good. I did make these smaller than I've been making my cookies, though. Me. Let me get these off the pan a little bit. Let me see how well they come off. Okay. Those two were connected. Taking them off onto this tray, they're coming off the parchment paper pretty good. I was kind of worried if these would set up because they were the dough was kind of wet, more like a thick batter, I think, than anything. Let's take the tray and put it on this. All right. So an ad's about to start, so sorry. But they make us do this. So. Or was it just going on? Ad starting soon. This is kind of confusing. Oh, or did it just run one and I didn't know it? Okay, well, I'll keep on then. Let's get a little plate. And I'll put a few of these on it so y'all can see them up close. They're kind of dainty, but that's what they look like. And I think we're going to taste them here. It's that one. They don't really taste like maple at all. Barely?
A little bit. You're in a right now.
Oh, am I? Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Yeah. Not what I want to send to somebody, though.
I taste maple.
Yeah, I think it depends on how big it was. All right, we're back from ads. Sorry, I didn't know exactly when those were coming. Put a few more of these on this plate, if in case y'all didn't see them. And this is how they turn out. These may be a little overdone. I'm going to pull the other ones at 12 minutes and see if they're a little better. Obviously, he likes them. I didn't get a nut in mine, so I'm going to have this one.
Add more nuts.
They're not very sweet, though. For a cup of maple syrup and a half a cup of sugar, I would have thought those would have been a little sweeter. First time with this recipe, yes. I mean, they're good. They're just not good like my mother's recipe. But I don't think these would be very good if I made them any smaller than I did. Well, I mean, it called for a cup of maple syrup, and I thought that was almost obscene. No, what I'd probably do is put a little brown sugar in them. Or some more white sugar. They could use brown sugar, though. It would make them a little chewier. I mean, they have the chew from the oatmeal. They don't have like that cookie chew. Well, I put some maple flavoring in these on top of the maple syrup. And I thought I was using too much. But I don't think that is the case. Because I don't think if I didn't use it, it would just taste like oatmeal. And I mean, a lot of what makes maple flavor are pretty volatile compounds. So they just sort of evaporate out. I mean, vanilla is that way too, but for some reason, vanilla seems to bind pretty strongly into a cookie. All right, so we have another tray of these. All right. Yeah, the oatmeal raisin cookies are really good. I didn't have any problem eating those. I pulled these a little earlier, so I'll let y'all take a look at these. Although they look very similar. I wonder if this is almost too much. Good evening. I'm making maple oatmeal cookies. And I just took a pan out, put another one in. They're pretty good. They're not as sweet or maple as I thought they would be. With a a cup of maple syrup in a recipe. But you did have 3 cups of oats and over a cup of flour, so they're not exactly what I thought I was getting. There's one from the first batch, though. Hope you've been having a good evening, Dota. Everyone else in the channel, if you're there, I appreciate it. Even if you're just lurking. This is an interesting difference in this recipe than that oatmeal raisin cookies that I was making, because these call for half a stick less butter, but a lot of liquid. I added vanilla. Vanilla was called for vanilla, and I added some maple flavor on top of the maple syrup. Not a lot, but just some. I'm doing pretty well. I'm a little disappointed with these cookies, but I don't think they're terrible. I'm not sure that I love them. Those still need a minute before I can take them off. I think I'm kind of having some of the problem with these that I was having with using butter with those other oatmeal cookies, where they sort of flatten out. And it's funny, some recipes that I have that use butter are they tasty enough to eat? Yes, they are. The flavor of maple is not super strong, and they're not as sweet as like the other cookies I've made on stream. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's probably more of a snacking cookie, really. It's funny though, because they just kind of come out whatever shape they do. I've got a Siamese, like 3. I've got like 4 connected. Here, I'll show you all the 4 that are connected. This is from the last pan. I cooked these a little less, but you can see how they're fairly thin. You can see, through the bottom in some of them. I mean, you may not be able to see that in this view, but I can see it here from my eye. Like this one here has like some little holes in it. So sort of lacy. Let me just remove the rest of these from the pan. I mean, it's rare that you actually get a cookie that's bad. Like this is a bad cookie. I don't think I've had like one that I was like, this is too disgusting, I can't eat it. I've just had ones that have been sort of underwhelming, and you don't necessarily want to, eat them because they're not very satisfying. I don't think these go down to that. And I may like these better after they've cooled, because that makes a difference sometimes too. Sometimes they're just yeah, that's true. It wouldn't be a bad cookie. Like if it's crisp enough, it wouldn't be a bad cookie to go into a bowl of ice cream. There was a place that I used to go, and I think it's still there, and it wasn't actually gelato, but it was similar to gelato. It was very, very dense ice cream, very little air in it, and they used to serve it with a little butter cookie, like just the cheapest little butter cookie you could imagine. They used to come in the grocery store in plastic wrap in a plastic tray, and probably no butter in them at all. And but it was a nice sort of counterpoint. Or sometimes they'll give you like a piece of a cone or something. In fact, this would probably be good without the nuts in it. You might have to put flour in instead of the oats, but this would be good as a like waffle cone, I think. Maybe grind the oatmeal up to make it, adhere better. But I think part of it is that you had like a cup of liquid instead of sugar. But then it would just be an oatmeal cookie. I think, honestly, this came as a piece of sort of what I would refer to as cooking ephemera. Stuff that does its job and then usually gets thrown away. And this was from Mom and Pop's Vermont maple syrup. And honestly, what I would say is probably this was a recipe to make you use a cup full of maple syrup. But I do love maple flavor, so I thought I would try it. Not sure why she just texted me. Yeah, it's I almost think these would have worked better with shortening. For butter to work in a cookie, you have to have something to sort of counteract that liquid and that lower melting temperature. Because that's one of the differences between using it is shortening has a higher melting temperature. See how those are just too underdone. I think these have been cooked too long too. Let's try one of the ones off the second pan. This is yes, this is my first time making these. I've never made these before. I had never seen this recipe before last week. The one's closer to you. Mm-hmm. Honestly, these wouldn't be bad for breakfast. Like if you had a breakfast on the go. They make me think more of that than they do as a cookie. I'm gonna have to make her some different ones.
Pretty good. I taste the maple.
I don't think they're bad. I'm just not sure I think they're good. These are a little lighter, so these may seem better to me. These are a little lighter. Like they didn't bake as much or something. Or they stayed together a little better. Streak time. Zab has been here 3 times. Thank you, Zab. I forgot to... I'm not sure how I would get one to you. I don't think they would be any good by the time they got it all the way across the country. Maybe, though. Might be the last pan. scrape down the bowl. You have to scrape the bowl to get all the stuff. That'll be a little one. All right. Let's get these other ones off this pan. These are a little thicker. I don't know what changed. Maybe it's that this is a darker pan. Let's see how these are. This is one off the last pan. I think that's probably how they're supposed to be. I didn't really do much. Some I let bake a little longer. These may have been better with like chocolate chips or raisins in them because then you would have had the sweetness of that. Yeah, they're not super mapley, which is surprising, like I've said, with a cup of maple syrup. But I did say that this was from, a maple syrup stand where they gave you this recipe. Hey, sugar, come in here. I think they're a little bit better like if you cook them a little less.
Hello. Make them a little.
Yeah. I think
Maybe they need to be thicker.
Well, I mean, I made them all about the same size. He said hello to you.
Oh. Hello.
Like the mic is up here.
Very, very good.
He would eat any cookie with oatmeal in it I put in front of him. And he likes stuff not as sweet.
Made of oatmeal?
If I made oatmeal bread, you'd probably think it was the best thing ever. I need another drink, I think. I drink Diet Coke. I know it's a huge surprise for anyone who knows my husband. Is everyone, I mean, it's a little early, but is everyone thinking about Thanksgiving and what they're going to do? I'm thinking about it because I don't know. I'm going to snooze that. I've been thinking about what I'm going to do for Thanksgiving because I might do some of it on this stream, but also it's just going to be the two of us here. I mean, I can't decide if it's better just to go out, but that's kind of weird. We have done it. I think that's what my sister's doing this year. But are there any things y'all like to see on the table at Thanksgiving? I mean, of course it's turkey, but like some people think macaroni and cheese needs to be there. Some people think mashed potatoes need to be there. Some people want that green bean casserole. I don't super love that, but you like making mashed potatoes? Do you make them from scratch or do you make them from like one of those envelopes of powder? Not that I'm shaming people who make instant mashed potatoes, because I'm not. Cool. That's how I like to make them. Is boil them. But if I accidentally put too much milk in, I'm not above putting in some of that stuff. Excuse me. You do mashed potatoes and Van Camp's pork and beans? I have never thought of combining those two things together. Or do you have them side by side on a plate? I I have heard of making macaroni and cheese and putting in baked beans and slicing up a hot dog and cooking that together. And that bizarrely works. I have a tendency to do very straightforward vegetables, so I will make a pot of green beans, but I'm cooking them at a very low temperature for a very long time, and they develop this wonderful color and this sort of meatiness. Well, I mean, I do put some meat in with them, and I've never. I maybe I'll try doing Brussels sprouts sometime. I've never super loved them. I always thought they tasted a little like dirt, kind of like beets. Do you get the bag of frozen pearl onions, or do you actually peel a bunch of fresh ones? Excuse me for a moment. I have to blow my nose. There are people who, yes, I know, thank you. There are people who will always have like tissues in their house, and I'm one of those people. And then there are people who usually just use the toilet paper or something. Or buy a box if they're sick. And I never understand that. In fact, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 boxes on this floor. Okay. Put these in. Let these cool here. Give it a timer of 12 minutes. Okay. We've got an ad starting in a minute. It's going to be a minute and a half. And I'm going to actually step away for a minute. I'll put you on the card I have, which is, just my logo on a test pattern. Because I just need to walk away for a second. And I figure the ad is the time to do it. I don't know. Because it's going to start in 14 seconds. And then I have a minute and a half. Okay, we'll be right back. All right. We're back from ad. Thank you for watching ad. Ad pays us. Hey, Grimdalin. Thanks for coming into our chat. We're making maple oatmeal cookies. I've got some in the oven. Here, I'll get one of these. Here, I've got this little plate. Some ones that look decent on. Oop, except that one just broke in half. So that one on there. They're not really very symmetric. But that's what they look like. They have a cup of maple syrup in them and some maple flavor and some pecans. And it's a recipe I've never tried before, so that's what they look like. use this as my picture. It's too far out here. This is what I'm going to use as my picture, so I'm going to take a picture. All right. Come out. That came out pretty good. That works. So now we've got our picture. So we'll probably wrap up after this last pan comes out. Because I usually just bake a cookie and go on with it. But I'm very appreciative to all of you who've come out to watch me, to share this time with me, to maybe learn something. Although I'm not sure there was much to learn in this case. Other than that, maybe this recipe needs some help. I'm not sure what help I would give it. Maybe somebody suggested some cinnamon. Maybe cinnamon would have helped, but I didn't put cinnamon in these because I felt like it would overpower whatever maple flavor they had. What would have helped too is, well, they used to have what they call grade B syrup, and basically the grade A fancy syrup was always lighter in color, but there was like a darker, more flavored version of maple syrup, and I think that would have been good in these. But I don't have that right now. I'm going to do soon a spice cookie recipe that was my grandmother's. But I had to find light molasses, and all I've had is this stuff. That everyone's seen. Everyone has seen this jar in the store, probably, if you paid any attention to it. This yellow labeled grandma's molasses. And it's not super clear what this is. Like what level of molasses it is. Typically with molasses, you have sort of 3 boils of it. Light molasses will come from the first boiling, and it will be the sweetest. There's a second one that is not as sweet, but has a stronger flavor. And then there's what's called blackstrap molasses. And blackstrap molasses would be good to use in small amounts because it has a lot of the sort of molasses flavor, but it can be bitter, really bitter. I never got the taste for it. My dad and my sister loved like buttered biscuits, and they would, drop a spoonful of molasses on top of it. But my dad would go, I don't know where he got it from. It was never labeled. It was just in a mason jar. And it'd be like a big mason jar, like a quart mason jar of molasses. And that stuff would sit in the cupboard for years and nothing would ever happen to it. It would never go bad. Kind of moving these around so I have space on my rack. Save that one. I think that one will be. All right. That should be enough space for these. We have a raid? Oh, we have a raid. Digicub is raiding. Thank you so much, Digicub. Somebody give him a shout out, please. What were you doing? I've been making oatmeal raisin, not oatmeal raisin, maple oatmeal cookies with pecans. Oh, Exogenesis. Hey, how are you? Shipwreck. We were playing Escape Simulator 2. I don't think I've ever seen that game. I guess it simulates an escape room? Is that what happens? Yeah, I'm going to take those out a minute early. I just think they'll be better. I've Siamesed them again. These do get nice. I will say one thing about these. They do get nice and crispy. And crispy can make up for a whole lot. All right. So that's the last pan of these. We ran into Exogenesis and Samumu, I think. We ran into a lot of folks. In fact, it was a panel that I went to at TwitchCon that made me think to even do this. So this is the last pan of these. They are not the prettiest cookie because they do sort of spread amorphously and not in a good circle. Part of that is because they're oatmeal, so they have whole pieces of oatmeal. Yes, I took a picture of you. I took a picture of you and Samumu together with my little thermal printed camera. I have this ridiculous little children's camera that I take to TwitchCon every year. And I take pictures of people and give them to them. And then it saves them. And they are incredibly bad. They look like they came from like a early 2000s webcam. But that works for those, you know, those tiny, the resolution of that thermal print. Yeah, a lot of people say that the Game Boy camera, and hey Murray, a lot of people say the Game Boy camera. It is sort of reminiscent of that. I don't think it's quite as bad as the Game Boy camera was, because it was the resolution on that was pretty bad. So For those who just came in, this is what I ended up making, and they're pretty good. They're not as sweet as I thought they would be. They are made with a cup of maple syrup and half a cup of granulated sugar, 3/4 of a cup of butter, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 3 cups of rolled oats, 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of soda, and I did add about half a teaspoon of maple flavor. So I will be posting these on my. I do post all of my videos on Discord. After I've uploaded them to YouTube, I also include the recipe and the sort of Instagram shop I've sent. Yes. Yeah. No, I know it does. Arcade Bear. We're both drinking Diet Coke. This recipe actually was from a Vermont sugar shack. And if you want to see my Discord, I thought I started Mix It Up. Did it not work? Let me try typing it. There's my Discord. On my Discord, I put up all of the things I've done on stream, all of the videos or links to the YouTube videos, and the recipe written out. I try to write them out in a way that makes sense. Sometimes the recipe I get is basically just a temperature, a time, and a list of ingredients. Also, if you ever want to see any of my other social media, did that work? That did work. So why didn't it do the Discord? That's weird. That's a link tree that goes to a Facebook I have for this this channel, and Blue Sky, and Instagram. Instagram just gets a picture. I think I'm going to wrap up because I've basically baked all the cookies now, so I do need to find someone to raid. But thank you all for coming to see me. I really appreciate. I appreciate all the support I get. Thank you, my subscribers, and my people who gift subscriptions. I thank them too. Let me find someone to raid. Let's see, we have. We're going to go to Jane Henry. Jane Henry is a food and drink streamer. She's great. She's a professional chef, and she makes all kinds of interesting food. Very nice and sweet to people. I think we'll go to her. I do try to support my food and drink streamers. Sometimes I go to other people. Yep. All right. So I'm going to start that raid now. And I'll go back to OBS. And I think it's going to happen really quick. Oh, no, it's not. Thank you so much for coming to see me. I love that you came to visit me making these cookies. I generally do this on every Tuesday around 9:30 and on Saturdays after my husband's stream where I cook dinner. I do sometimes put in other streams just when I sort of feel like it. I just want to say that y'all should all eat something good, and I love you. Have a good night, and we'll raid into Jane Henry